Moon Kingdom is Mario Odyssey's most unique kingdom when it comes to speedrunning. Unlike the rest of the game where you travel around an open world looking for moons, Moon Kingdom focuses much more on a linear story where your one goal is to reach the finish. Now, because this kingdom is so straightforward, you'd expect it to be rather simple, but that could not be further from the truth. Because of the linear nature of this kingdom, speedrunners have been able to come up with some of the most unique skips and strategies over the 4 years Odyssey has been out to finish it as quickly as possible. This is that story. Super Mario Odyssey released on October 27th, 2017. In the speedrun community, it was one of the single most anticipated games ever. It felt like everybody who was a speedrunner wanted to give this game a shot, and as a result, the Odyssey community was one of the fastest developing communities out there. This meant it was only a matter of time before people started breaking the game wide open. On October 29th, early in the morning, just 2 days after Odyssey released, Zadok2 would post this video to YouTube. This, as many of you may know, is Moon Cave Skip. The trick worked by abusing the game's uneven collision along the two cliff faces. Now normally Odyssey doesn't allow players to do 90-degree wall jumps by not letting them wall slide until Mario is lower than his initial elevation on the first wall, but because of the weird jagged geometry, players are able to circumnavigate this restriction with precise wall jumps and scale the entire thing. Moon Skip was the first major discovery in Super Mario Odyssey's history. This one trick cut minutes off of the speedrun and made half the kingdom completely unnecessary. As we mentioned earlier, the only goal in this kingdom is to reach the finish, so any skip like this was completely fair game. The challenge here wasn't going to be to figure out what moons we could chain together fastest, it would be how we can play through, or in some cases skip, entire parts of the moon to finish as fast as possible. After the discovery of Moon Skip, world record speedrunners were able to beat the kingdom in an average of 7 minutes. Nintendo's world record on October 30th would be able to get the trick in 4 tries, but it wouldn't take very long for people to get better. In these early days, we would begin to see the development of some of the earliest Odyssey speedrun tech to save time in Moon Kingdom, most notably fast hats. One of the key components of Moon Kingdom is the Bowser fight. He throws a set of hats at you, with one of him being his real hat that you have to take with Cappy and then use to beat up Bowser. Each time you collect the hat, Bowser does this short sequence where he hops around and you have to chase him down. The short chase sequence is obviously slow, so the solution speedrunners came up with was to collect Bowser's hat as close to him as possible so they can attack him before he even starts jumping. Each time a runner successfully managed this, they could save as much as several seconds. At first, people struggled with this trick. If you got too close to Bowser before putting on his hat, he'd simply swipe it away and you'd lose time. But it only took a few days for runners to really start to get a hang of it. World record Moon Kingdoms at this time were already down to nearly 6 minutes, and the game was just over a week old. The kingdom wouldn't see much development for a little bit. Most optimizations over the next months were focused on the final room in the game, pillars. In this room, players have to knock down 4 pillars to reveal a block in the center that they can then claw swipe to reveal a wire that they can take to finish the run. A strategy quickly developed here where runners would blast fireballs towards the first pillar on the right in hopes to take it down early, and then travel clockwise around the room, taking down the remaining pillars. It was pretty uncommon for runners at this point in time to successfully land 5 fireballs on the right pillar early, so most world record runners would finish off the pillar last after traveling around the rest of the room. Near the start of December, we'd begin to see the development of a new strat, faster hats. People began to realize if you jumped over Bowser's hat right as he's about to throw it, you can instantly capture it. Now this was a lot trickier than the original fast hat strat because Bowser still takes his hat back if he gets too close. But over time, runners started to get a lot better at this trick, letting them consistently save a couple of seconds. The other thing we started to see around this time was 2D skip. In this 2D Bowser section at the end of the kingdom, you're able to do a precise jump up these blocks to skip a small section and save another couple of seconds. These small time saves, while seeming insignificant, were starting to add up. By the start of 2018, Moon Kingdom was finally beginning to look like a modern speedrun. Value's world record from January 9th had clean overworld movement, a fast second try moon skip, nailed all 3 faster hatch strats, a clean 2D skip, and a pillar room that hit 4 out of 5 early pillar shots. He was able to finish the kingdom in only 5 minutes and 41 seconds, and not to mention this run lost 7 seconds to his former PB's Moon Kingdom. So by early 2018, world record runners were starting to get Moon Kingdoms that were around 5.5 minutes. As time passed, Super Mario Odyssey's world record began to drop from a 104.50 to the 103s, then 102s, and then finally within a single minute of hitting sub-hour. During this time period, not much would change in Moon Kingdom. A good world record level split of the kingdom sat at around 5 minutes and 15 seconds. And this happened just because people were getting better at those small optimizations. Chaos Pringle's world record in November of 2018 did things like this smooth transition from the rocket into Moon Cave skip, an excellent set of fast hats. He was able to take down the first pillar on the right early in the final room, and he actually ran in the 2D section, which is something speedrunners forgot you could do until March of 2018. The 5 minutes 15 seconds norm stayed this way for a while. But as speedrunners' times got lower and lower, players got better, and we started to see something new form: Community Sob. Community Sob, or Community Sum of Best, is a collective effort by the Super Mario Odyssey community to record the best individual times of every kingdom to see what a hypothetical perfect run could look like if the best ever playthroughs of specific kingdoms were all combined together. This sort of thing has basically always existed in the Odyssey community, but as runs got more and more optimized beyond the initial sub-hour mark, people began to care more and more about this stuff. How fast could a game like Odyssey really get? Some people thought sub-hour was impossible until it happened, so how far could we push this game, and how fast could these kingdoms really get? Well, when talking about Moon Kingdom, there's one person who really began to stand out as the king in 2019. For a long time in Super Mario Odyssey's history, Miles Pro 91 was known for their ability to optimize Moon Kingdom. They had the fastest times by far, and throughout 2019 were able to save second after second on the Moon Kingdom IL world record. Eventually, it came down to pushing for a sub-5 time, and to do this, everything had to be perfect. From a single wall jump Moon Cave skip, to the specific angles that they'd punch Bowser to cut off fractions of seconds on each animation, every single part of this Moon Kingdom has small optimizations that add up bit by bit to create the near perfect run. One of the most impressive segments Miles achieved in his sub-5 attempts is the pillar room at the end. Every fireball is so perfectly done to get an impressive 5 shots on the first pillar, 2 early shots on the second pillar, with the third and fourth being completely destroyed with fireballs. Over time, Miles was able to string these strats together and become the first ever person to clear Moon Kingdom in under 5 minutes. This run was uploaded on August 25th in 2019. The 80% world record in Super Mario Odyssey at the time had a Moon Kingdom that was 12 seconds slower. While Miles was able to prove so much was possible, getting this sort of time in a full 80% speedrun, especially one that was on world record pace, was not gonna be easy. Over the next year, 80% speedrunners would continue to optimize their playthrough of the kingdoms and runs. By early 2020, the best Moon Kingdoms done in 80% world records were sitting at around 5 minutes and 4 seconds, which was only around 7 seconds behind the IL world record at the time. 80% runs were finally starting to catch up to the IL records, but I don't think anyone was ready for what was about to be discovered. Moon Kingdom could now be beaten without entering a single 2D section thanks to a trick speedrunners began to call 2D skip skip, or 2DSS for short. The name coming from the fact that you skip the 2D skip trick you'd normally do inside the section. Let's break it down. The 2D section Moon Kingdom is broken up into parts that fall the further you climb through the section. But when Nintendo did this, they messed up, and near the corners of the wall, these sections are actually standable. So by jumping on these specific spots, you could climb to the top. Now, this was not at all easy. These spots were very specific, and I made a scale replica of the section to demonstrate the rough locations speedrunners have to jump on to climb the wall. It may look doable, but these spots are incredibly precise. One wrong move and you're back to the beginning, and all that time saved is gone. Take a few weeks for Isle runners to get a full run through of the kingdom with this trick done on the first try, but like before, Miles Pro was able to set a new Moon Kingdom Isle world record of 4 minutes and 53 seconds using it. But how long would it take for somebody to do this in an any percent world record? It saved several seconds, so it'd be something that's worthwhile with enough practice, but how hard is it to get a trick this difficult consistently? If it was in the first 5 minutes of the run, it'd be a different story, but this trick happens nearly a minute before the end of the run. Would you be willing to risk a world record that close to the finish just to save an extra 7 seconds? The first sub 58 minute time wouldn't perform the trick, Tyrone's 57:46 wouldn't do the trick, not Mitch's 57:44, not the 57:38 world record, or the 57:35. But 80% world records just kept getting more and more optimized. When each second of time save just keeps getting exponentially harder, one trick that saves nearly 10 seconds was just too appealing.
More famous than me? Also true. Yo, Fumetsu, I forgot you have a sub to be. Let's go.
Ba ba ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba.
Go! 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 Holy shit. Okay. You got this.
GG's.
Let's
It's like a Faraday, I go hit. It's like a Faraday.
31. Yeah, 31. Yep, 31.
GG.
GG, dude. Let's go! Or no, 30. So low 30?
GG!
GG.
GG.
Mitch coming with the
GG. That was so fucking garbage. Oh my god.
Yeah?
Holy shit.
First record with 2DSS?
Yeah. What?
This trick revolutionized Moon Kingdom in both ILs and the any percent speedrun. The IL world record had improved by this point to a 4 minute and 47 second time by XXX. They had picked up where Miles Pro left off, improving the Moon Kingdom IL again and again until it reached that 4:47 time it stands at today. Any percent now had a new wild standard to uphold as well. World record speedruns started seeing Moon Kingdoms that were now around 4 minutes and 50 seconds, a testament to how far speedrunners were willing to push this game to perfection. That's where this story ends. Well, at least for now. Super Mario Odyssey is a game where people constantly push to see what humans are capable of. Just because the best Moon Kingdom right now is 4 minutes and 47 seconds doesn't mean it can't get lower. There's something in the Odyssey community known as BTT, or Best Theoretical Time. It's a community effort to find the best possible segments that can be performed by humans and splice them together to create a near-perfect speedrun. The BTT time for Moon Kingdom sits a whole 6 seconds faster than the individual level world record and is still being lowered. These segments exist as proof that even when it feels like Odyssey speedruns have reached their limit, the community can still push lower. I'm excited to see what the future holds for Odyssey speedrunning, and I hope you are too. Thanks for watching. Hey, this video took a really long time to make, so if you liked it, subscribe and consider sharing it with at least one friend who you think might enjoy it. Also, I spent like a month making this prop, and I only used it for like 10 seconds in the video, so I feel like that's gotta be a good reason to subscribe, so just please, it really means a lot. Thanks again for watching. More videos soon.